Well, hi, Janelle. It looks like you did your assignment too from scratch, and it's quite good. I guess if I had to say something, it might be that the yellow over and the ambiguous areas of overlap are a little similar. But really, it is a good job. Transparency in assignment 3 looks okay. With depth, there's a concern because light colors and saturated ones come forward. So this sort of design works better if you use saturated colors with darker, duller ones. Now, looking at vibration, I noticed that you changed the yellows and the greens in a manner that's akin to the sample. Well, hi, Megan. Looking at your assignment too, I think that your areas of overlap look okay. Maybe those two red shapes on either side of the central green stripe could be of equal width. Now, transparency looks okay, but I'll say to you and your classmates that I think you can be more aggressive with your designs. Each of these designs should be a work of art and not just a trial. So looking now at depth, well, one little problem we have with lessening opacity in shapes used in a depth design such as this is when you get areas of overlap, there's greater saturation, and that kind of foils the illusion. Further, as I was just saying to Janelle, when you have light colors and saturated ones, they both advance, so we don't get the strongest illusion then. Looking at your vibration work, well, I like to see those edges trimmed up. Hillary, your assignment 2 has sufficient interval between areas of overlap, and there's a drama there, enough change from one side to the other. In transparency, things look okay. In depth, I noticed that this is a rather neutral composition hue-wise, though what you do have in truth is a subtle tone of red. And looking at vibration, I think we can sense the effect there, and your values are quite constant too. Hi Cedric, your assignment 2 looks okay, but when I looked at assignment 3, I am not sure why everything is so fuzzy. Your work looks a lot different from the samples that were given, and I'd like to hear what your rationale is there. So please send me an email on this matter. We need to be in touch. Well, let's see. With regard to your transparency seems okay, and depth is a matter I'm just a little concerned about because you've got the duller colors in the foreground and the more saturated ones, which are also lighter, toward the rear. So that's kind of reversing the theory. And with vibration, we want fully saturated colors. Cheryl, assignment 2 looks good, and I like your color set there. Looking to transparency in assignment 3, I think this is perhaps your most original solution. And I like the way that the pink bar seems to be weaving under and over, or in one case, in the case of the skinny bar, it's most definitely over. Perhaps this design could be improved if the pattern was less random. With depth, you have the theory down, and it's interesting to see how you can make a tunnel that's sort of going off to the left. However, this is a format that I've seen before a few times. With vibration, your colors should be fully saturated, and it's best if one is cool and one is warm. Well, hi, Renee. I noticed that you've chosen 2 tones of violet for your assignment, too. And actually, this looks very good. The only little shortcoming might be that the area of overlap where the vertical bar goes over is a very subtle change. Now, transparency looks really good. I like this systematic approach. One little thing is maybe the gray and black bars should extend to the same extent on both left and right. Looking at depth, I see you have the concepts. It appears that the bars get more transparent as they grow further away. And I think when you diminish opacity like that, sometimes it foils the effect of depth. However, it's not so much a problem here because you've been altering the opacity and the top most saturated colors are more opaque. Looking at your color vibration, well, that's okay. I really get the sensation of vibration. Hi, Crystal. I looked at these same files and drafts, I believe, in assignment 2. I think the center area of overlap is probably a little dark. And let's see, in vibration, I don't believe the values are constant. It's kind of a simple design, isn't it? Take each of these parts and consider that they should be treated as a work of art. Perhaps look to Janelle's and notice how hers makes use of varying hues for the different stripes. Even though the colors are similar, they vary, which is akin to the sample. With depth, you know, when you overlap something, it naturally seems to be behind. But if the lightest thing is overlapped, we have a kind of conundrum. It's not clear where that thing is meant to be spatially. So I'd take a look at that. Hello, Joe. Your assignment 2 looks great. The area of overlap shows sufficient interval between the 3 green stripes, and the difference between the left and the right sides is dramatic. Part 1 in assignment 3 looks great. It's nice to see how when colors overlap different shapes, they shift, and the way you've used the rectangles, they build pipes or ducts or something along those lines. It's a nice design. Now with part 2, I think you mean the green composition to be your final work, and that is a sort of composition I've seen many times. However, I note that a lot of care went into building this. Everything has been spaced neatly. And speaking of spacing, looking to your vibration design, I can see that you've revamped that. Well, hi, Kathleen. You know, your assignment 2 looks pretty good. If there was anything to say about it, maybe it's that where red goes over, the area of overlap looks pretty subtle. You know, I like your inclination to put colored grounds behind your designs. It's interesting how that works with your transparency design. The yellow stripes sort of disappear into the background. With depth, things look good. I noticed that you're not just dealing with value, but also warm and cool hues. And your vibration piece is quite nice. You have ideas. I would work on centering the design in the middle of the composition, maybe letting the design be larger. And I want to tell you and all your classmates that the examples of final projects I've been sharing with you, and actually all the examples I've been sharing with you, are made by RP students. Well, hi, Lana. Your assignment 2 looks okay. Looking at assignment 3, well, directions indicated that these should be submitted as 3 separate files, and that should clue you into the fact that each is meant to be an artwork in its own right. In other words, not a trial or a test. So, you know, I look at depth. It's okay. Some of the middle blues are merging with each other when I look at this in Photoshop on my screen. Vibration is okay also. However, colors are not same value, and I don't believe that blue is fully saturated. When I look to transparency, well, I think this is the beginning of a good idea. Okay, Patricia, your assignment 2 looks all right, and I'll grant you and your classmates that this can be a busy time of year. However, generally, I am accustomed to seeing assignment 3 parts that are more exciting than assignment 2. So I'm looking for more from this class, from all of you, in weeks 5 and the final project in week 6. You know, look to your transparency piece, and it's okay. I really feel like depth is too simple and does not give us an idea of how the concepts work. Like, for instance, light colors advance, and so do large shapes, by the way. So there's not really a sense of why that light shape is in the front. You need to help us understand that by the information you're giving in the composition. Probably the most exciting one here is vibration.